This time we ask, just why are classic style bikes so popular at the moment? From Royal Enfield to Triumph, Kawasaki, Norton and now BSA, classically styled bikes are big money at the moment. But why is that? Here are 5 reasons we think that they're so popular. Nostalgia. Nostalgia has always been big business, and not just in motorcycles of course. In this case though, it's nostalgia for devices that were ridden around when our grandfathers or parents were bikers. Or in some cases, it's nostalgia for our own youth, whether it be in the 1970s or the 1980s. I think what nostalgia means in these cases is that connection with an engineering past, a connection with our forebears who rode around on bikes all the time. And we see this when we park up, because if you park up on a modern bike, you can guarantee that very few people will take any notice of you. If you park up on one of these modern classics that looks just right, you pretty much know that some old guy is going to come along and start chatting to you about his biking experiences, because bikes like this will provide that level of connection. Style. Now they do say that whilst fashions come and go, style is forever. And perhaps that's very much true with motorcycles. The modern styling of bikes, which looks kind of manga comic orientated or gives a machine that looks very much like an insect, is not popular amongst many motorcyclists. Some like them, some don't, that's the nature of styling. But classic bikes hit a chord with many more riders, and not necessarily just older ones. And just like classic cars, there's a purity and simplicity of line that simply isn't there in modern vehicles. Somebody actually styled them, rather than design them on the computer. At least that's the feeling that these machines can sometimes give. And while indeed styles have come and gone, square headlamps, bikini fairings, through to the modern robotic styling of today, these classically styled bikes have remained popular, at least on some level, throughout that entire time. Style is forever. Size and proportion. One of the great criticisms of modern bikes is proportion. They're just too darn big, they're heavy, they're cumbersome, and if you're a lady rider, they're just off bounds really. You can't get your feet on the ground even. And while this isn't a problem if you're 6'5", for the rest of us it can be a big problem. Because if you're lugging around luggage and the like, well, you need to get your feet on the ground. And for ladies, these bikes are simply inaccessible. Fortunately, most modern classics are very accessible. Seat heights are usually at a reasonable level. You haven't got your bum stuck in the air. The sitting positions are very comfortable, and all in all, they provide an accessible and very usable all-round package. And whilst they're not necessarily that light, they're usually low enough to make sure that that doesn't matter too much. And the power in most cases is not excessive, it's just enough. Simplicity. There's no getting away the fact that modern motorcycles are bloody complicated. Just one view of our Honda service video pretty much confirms that opinion. Now of course, not all classic bikes hold that simple many run direct overhead cams, but they're not necessarily run a huge number of cylinders in a lot of bodywork surrounded by a wraparound frame. Usually the parts and bits are accessible, so servicing them and getting at the things is much easier. And this of course extends to controls too. The complicated screens and all manner of adjustable devices, well, people seem to be rejecting to some level and are craving the simplicity of these type of machines. Because ultimately what you really need is an engine that's easily serviceable, that delivers enough power, and in terms of information provided, do you need to know much more beyond how fast you're going and how long you've got to go before you need to put petrol in the thing. Purity, simplicity, passion. Yes, the intangibles that people often used to like to call character. Of course, this is often poo-pooed as something that just is a throwaway term for bikes that aren't very reliable. This is complete nonsense. Most of these modern classics are extremely reliable. We've covered thousands of miles on our Gutsi V7 with no problems at all. And our Gutsi, unlike many other bikes in this class, provide us with a kind of riding experience that can't be matched by a hyper-clean, hyper-perfected motorcycle. And it must be noted that most modern motorcycles really do feel rather aseptic when you're riding them. In other words, there's just no great feel to them. Fast they may be, but they don't stir the emotions in terms of sound or feel in the way that a modern classic can, or a pure real classic of course. And this is perhaps these motorcycles' key superpower. It's about the way they make you feel when you're riding them. What other collections of bikes or single bikes would you like to see us cover in a future video? Perhaps you've got a bike we can use for a test ride? Either way, get in touch below. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, thank you very much for watching.